Hey, what is up? It is Keith. I am a 54-year-old nutrient dense raw vegan, spiritual adrenaline junkie, here to tell you about all the aspects of wellness in my 54-year-old life, my pursuit of longevity, of immortality, of like setting a new standard for human evolution. And this is all about the interweaving of everything that has to do with nutrition, the spiritual life, the emotional life, and the mental life. And I'm not trying to isolate anybody, but gotta say this at every time. This one's going to be a little bit. It's going to be all nutrient oriented. I'm going to start out with a few things. Going to do a little tarot in here, but I'm going to discuss the stuff that's in my detox program, summer 2017. So I'm looking a little dehydrated today. That would be from the just the intense amount of time of sitting on the toilet, having like, yeah, that's very dehydrating. You got to really hydrate up. And I've been doing a few things. Anyways, let me just tell you what we're going to touch on in this. Is some of the mainstays, or this the mainstays of my program, of this detox thing. And I'm doing this because of this transformational feeling that I'm having. I feel like I'm definitely riding with the astrology of the time. This summer is all about this transformational revelation of peeling back the sort of stuff that really doesn't have to do with your soul mission, you know. And everybody's experiencing that on in their own way. Some people in smaller ways, and some people like me that are fully plugged into it and fully like just anticipating all of this action are going to go through big stuff, as I did last year at this time, what I said. So before I pull up some tarot cards, let me tell you, I'm working with the MMS big time. I did this one in 2015. I'm going to have a whole video on that. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. I'm taking an herb, which is really good for sort of curbing appetite. Sort of a little bit of a fast, but not a full-blown fast. And I'm trying to do something without having a lot of like I'm doing this. I'm having a mind of what the prize is. And a lot of that for me is I kind of set down parameters, and then it's like I'm doing this and I'm sticking with it, and I'm way beyond that. I'm just like I just want to do what I need to do. So this herb, Forscoli, let me show it to you. Really, really good for curbing appetite, and definitely not. And some things that you can do that have to do with fasting can really challenge you. Even though you're feeling nutritionally satisfied, this really seems to work on the emotional thing and the sort of mental thing that makes you think that you need to eat. The other one is, as I have located a vegan L-carnitine. This is a really good one too. So I'm taking both of those in the morning with my warm drinks. I'm taking activated charcoal, sometimes twice a day, heaping tablespoon in water. Really, really good for cleaning up your blood. I learned that one a long time ago. David Wolf is really on that trip right now. Of course, you can just get any activated charcoal in the store, health food store, and it's good enough. David Wolf, of course, is selling some elite highbrow special activated charcoal made by virgin alien hippies, that so he can jack the price up. I'm not going to say activated charcoal is activated charcoal. His might be special, I don't know, but you don't need to engage in all of that kind of crapola. I'm blended fasting, I'm juicing. Urine therapy, big time, I'm doing that. Okay, so let's go into all the details of that later. My cards of the day are the Tower from the Voyager deck. That's the Voyager deck, the back of it. The Tower and any other deck, it's great to be pulling this card at this time. Um, I don't know if you guys are into me, like whatever. I'd like to think that you're following the flow, even if you're not doing my stuff. This is definitely a card of the time. So in other decks, this is really about outside change. In this one, this deck, it's more personal. As this deck has a lot of new different things, and um, I was going to read from this book about the Tower, if you don't mind. It's maybe totally whacked out. The Tower, symbolizing the law of purification, is a revolutionary self-cleansing. What is being purified is represented by the Tower, a symbol of mankind's ego and the structures he builds to support his vanity. Standing tall and proud like the ego would wish, humanity creates a towering structure of beliefs and edifices. In reality, this is but a Tower of Babel, a house of cards and confusion destined to be destroyed. The Kabbalah letter name for the Tower is Peh, P-E-H, which means mouth and speech, and stands for the activity generated by words, words, and more words. Big mouths are always taken down in the end. Struck by fire and lightning, the Tower falls. That's a little bit more the imagery of the traditional tarot deck. The revolution beheads those who are on top or who believe they are on high. These eclipses are really going to be like crazy shit's going to happen here in August. So I don't know what it's going to be. I basically have lost all my fear of death. I realize I live by my axiom I've been talking about, of that, I'm more of a spiritual being than I am a physical being. I'm a spiritual entity in this body having a physical experience, but the bigger life, as I've said before, this life is 2 steps in the marathon. That's the soul life. Let's see if we can get some other shit out of this. As the fiery Mars, we're heavy Mars influence right now, the god of war and conflict, the warrior of the soul, leap from the Tower to purge your ego by sacrificing your egotistical vanities to the purifying fire. The fire of purification is symbolized by the Tower because it represents the highest point of observation. Lovely. The first person that read tarot for me was had a completely opposite version of the Tower than what is the traditional meaning, which is kind of a card of disaster. But when you think about fasting and all, and doing these sort of purification things, it is trying to elevate yourself, and that's definitely what I'm trying to do. And it is a little bit scary, and it is a lot of stripping away of stuff. I pulled a second card, which I always do whenever I get a card that's kind of possibly a little bit of troubling. From the Thoth deck, I got the Peace card, and I definitely am at peace. I've done so many of these kinds of like things of where I'm reinventing myself and gathering together everything that I've ever been. Like this one's a big one for me. This is really a big one. Like I've like the last 4 years, as I've talked about, I've made some breakthroughs, and this one is really that's the motion of the time right now. Is just, for me, is just bringing together all these kind of things. And I've had a hermit-like kind of thing, and that's a big card that comes up too, that hermit-like thing, that really, that the guy isolating himself and sort of finding out about your own depth and what makes you tick, and really having less influence from society. But I'm also moving back into society. Right now, as I'm detoxing, I'm not doing so much crazy stuff with my fitness junkie thing. I was like doing a lot of running, a lot of like long, epic, like hour and 15 minutes on the stair stepper machine at the gym, cycling and stuff like that. I'm kind of taking it easy, like, because I'm eating a lot less. That makes it really easy to fast and to like not make it, I usually can, when I'm blended fasting, I can usually easily eat a full like Vitamix of a blended soup. and I really have a hard time consuming much more than half. When you're detoxing, your fat cells are where all of that junk and stuff is stored. And again, where am I? I'm at 10 minutes. I hope I'm like getting stuff done. But this is a part of my ageless program of getting my body like really skinny like it's meant to be. As I've said, I have a really small frame. I'm 6'7", and I have really tiny hips. Like, well, this one will work better. Small. That's really the indicator of like your frame. And mine is really small. And as I've said before, if it wasn't for my wide shoulders, I'd be like kind of a beanpole looking kind of guy. I'm getting down to about 175, which is good. And you just gotta lose all that old fat. And it's really, I look at some people that are fit, and they just have a skin quality. People that are fit and old, and they have like a skin quality to them, and I don't have that. Like I can tell that they're old, and I'm not saying I don't look like way past my, I don't have that like youthful kind of look with my skin, but my chest and my stomach, and I've been on a health kick all my life, so that's why. So what else did I want to say? That's probably it for now. I'm going to touch on each one of these. The MMS is a really big challenge of doing that. I'm kind of going slow into that. In 2015, I freaking went headfirst into that, and in my other videos specifically on MMS, we'll talk about that stuff. This is like, for me, any time that I use this MMS stuff, or there's essential oils, the therapeutic grade type that you can take internally, I immediately, when I take that, especially the essential oil, like there's one called Spice of Life, and my friend Walter, who I helped him cure a drug-resistant staph. I just told him about the Spice of Life, and then he basically sort of took that ball and ran with it and became a lot more of an expert on essential oils than I am. There's this company doTERRA, which has like probably the best, a little bit pricey, but anytime I do these things, the racing thoughts, my meditations, all of that kind of stuff just get really, really focused, and all that kind of like all over the place, which I used to be really, really bad, like bad with. I don't know what else to say about it. I could not meditate for very long. I had to be in proper situations, whatever. I think that's good enough to talk about, because I did just want to say that I'm on a program right now, and because I'd reached a plateau, or a tower spot, the tower again, of achieving this raw vegan ultimate, like the food that I eat, normal chewing food, of being sproutarian mainly, of eating not too much dehydrated food, but like keeping my dehydrator going. We are having a physical experience, and there's some people that are more purist in the raw food movement, or they think they're purist. I happen to disagree with them, that are kind of against dehydrator food. I love dehydrator food. It really kind of takes stuff to the next level with just making it a really pleasurable meal. I was fruitarian for a long part of my life. I was never satisfied with that, ever, ever, ever. So I was like, oh, I should do this like detoxing thing. And I was just like, no, I want to enjoy more of this where I'm at. And I'm just like, but I'm there. Like, I went on this vacation with my parents, and I got it. And so somebody on Instagram, this girl, I think it's Dodi Satva, she was saying that she was going on a liver cleanse. And I definitely, anything that comes my way, or just something that comes out of the blue, and I'm like, oh. And so because of that, I decided I'm actually doing this, the blended fast, the activated charcoal, the urine therapy. I've been doing urine therapy, by the way. I didn't touch on that one for like probably nearing 8 weeks. That's amazing. We'll have a video specifically on that. I have like a bunch of videos daily. Hopefully I'm going to do those. I can never promise you because I don't really care about being a YouTuber. I just really want to document my extraordinary life that I have a lot of gratitude for, and loving what I'm doing. I just know it's the only way. I follow my heart. I follow my dreams. I follow what I intuitively know is right. Okay, bright blessings. It's Keith. Support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down. Secondculture.bandcamp.com. Gonna be like really active with a lot of that. My website, second-culture.com. That's really going through some changes right now. Following my dreams. And I love it. And I hope you all are doing your own best version of your infinite soul expansion. Bright blessings.